Alrighty. So, what I wanted to do, I just wanted to come on and I wanted to talk to you about a chapter in a book that I was reading. The book is Astrology for the Soul by Jan Ziller. I'm currently reading it. I'm currently going through not every single chapter from a planned perspective, but I am going through some of the chapters and I'm reading through the chapters. And when I say a planned perspective, I mean, okay, well, I'm going to start off with the Aries North Node, Taurus North Node, Gemini North Node, and then move forward from there until I read all the North Nodes. I'm not doing them in order. I am reading whatever placement that I want to. Now, you're probably thinking, maybe some of you are, well, the North Node and the South Node, what are they? So, basically, the South Node and North Node in astrology are 2 points that travel exactly opposite one another. They move in opposite signs. So if the North Node is in Pisces, for instance, the South Node is always going to be in the opposite sign of Virgo. So these are fate's points of karma. They deal with fate. They deal with spiritual evolution. And so your South Node is always where you're coming from. It's always what is comfortable. Sort of the skill sets that you have developed in previous lifetimes that deals with that, or you can think of it as your early childhood. The South Node always shows what's familiar to you on a soul level, what you've mastered. The North Node is what you've yet to learn, what you've yet to overcome, what you've yet to master, the qualities that you must cultivate to evolve spiritually, to grow spiritually in this lifetime. And this is a brand new area that may not be completely comfortable, but the satisfaction and rewards that you reap from that North Node, that feeling of contentment, that feeling of purpose and meaning in your life that you'll have is unmistakable. So, that's just a little introduction to the nodes. Now, I didn't plan on doing this, but I think I am going to take you through the particular section of this book, which is about the South Node in Pisces and North Node in Virgo. My intuition was leading me to read about this, and there was, a certain reason why, but but the thing is, this would not be my personal placement. It would not be my choice. Because Virgo is sort of, in my personal opinion, my least favorite sign. And, the reason why that is because just, Virgo deals with the mundane. It deals with, sort of the, the details, the organization, but, there's a high road of this particular sign. But I'm going to delve into that when we discuss more of the placement, as I am going through this particular book, and not going through every single section of it, but then delving into the placement. But when I think of this placement, there is this melancholy sense of, well, Pisces, the South Node in Pisces deals with tendencies to escape and withdraw into fantasy. And the high road is previous lifetimes where you have become one, where you have found a sense of understanding and compassion for others through being in an open space where you are trusting the universe, where you are allowing spirit in, where you're flowing. And so there was this sort of sense of not wanting to take action in your life. And the Virgo North Node deals with being productive. It deals with taking care of the little things, dealing with the details. It deals with participating in life, facing the reality, taking action, putting in the work, creating structure, creating routines, and attending to the details, noticing the details. A huge part of that North Node in Virgo deals with service in practical ways. I think the Virgo North Node allows that Pisces South Node person to manifest whatever their vision is in practical ways. You take the steps, you check things off your list. So that's just a little trailer into this particular placement. But I'm going to just get in here and break down the parts that I want to break down for you. So I'm just going to go to the section that she explains this particular placement and do this. So North Node in Virgo. This is, I'm looking at the book. North Node in Virgo and North Node in the 6th house. I'm going to do kind of I already have a video about it. But I wasn't really interested in learning more about this particular placement until I was on vacation recently. Then I started to think about it, and then I started getting interested, and I read the chapter on it, and I want to share it with you. And I want to try to put it in a positive light. I want to, make it positive, make it, because honestly, I can't, really see why I would want, to move in that direction. But this is going to be spiritually fulfilling for the people who have this placement. And it is similar to mine because my North Node is in an Earth sign, which is Taurus. And when the North Node was moving through Virgo, which was November of 2015 through May of 2017. The South Node was in Pisces, the North Node was moving through Virgo. Transiting lunar nodes in the sky were moving through those signs. In 2 years' time, in 2025, starting on January 11th of that year, for about 18 months, they're going to switch. They're going to be in opposite signs. The South Node is going to be in Virgo, the North Node is going to be in Pisces. It takes 18 to 19 years for them to travel, for the South Node and North Node to travel through all the signs. And every 18 years, the nodes return to the same place that they were 18 years ago. And in your natal chart, you have something called the nodal return, which is when the nodes hit that same degree as they are in your natal birth chart. When you have your nodal return, it's like the universe is trying to pull you to move towards your North Node, further towards your purpose, your destiny, your path to enlightenment and evolution. And when it's your reverse nodal return, when the South Node is in your North Node sign and the North Node is in your South Node, you may be confused because the world could be heading in a very, very different direction than your North Node. It could be a more uncomfortable, challenging, potentially painful time, or an easier, more relaxing time when you're leaning back into your South Node, when you're coming back into balance with your South Node and moving towards the highest level, the highest vibration, embracing the highest qualities of your South Node sign, coming back home inside yourself in that way, and also maybe learning new things and healing the South Node, qualities, maybe learning things that you didn't know. Maybe you're so caught in the shadow of the South Node, now you're moving into a higher vibration of it. Now, I have a whole nother video on the nodal return and reverse nodal return. So for more information on that, you can check that video out on my channel. Just put in my name and then nodal return, and you should find the video. It's about 20 or so minutes long. When and it may feel very easy to go back to your South Node because there's a pull, and you may have to sort of push yourself sometimes to move into your North Node. And so Jupiter was also moving through the sign of Virgo at that time. So anyway, Virgo in astrology corresponds to the 6th house. Virgo is ruled by the planet of Mercury, the planet of communication, the mind, your thinking, how you take in information, how you communicate to others, the intellect, that's Mercury. And the 6th house is work, health, daily routines. I think it also corresponds to pets properly. Now, Virgo is a mutable sign, so it's very adaptable and changeable. It falls at the end of the summertime. For mutable signs, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Gemini always fall at the end of every season. Therefore, they transition from one season into the next season. So a couple things that it talks about is the attributes to develop. It says participation, bringing order to chaos. Virgo North Nodes are here to create structure to life, making sense of the mess, making sense of the chaos. Healing, structure routines can be very healing for the North Node in Virgo and very fulfilling. So creating routines. Virgo is about the little details that you do in your life that make up who you are, your routines. Sort of telling you, okay, well, this is your state of mind, this is who you are, this is how you live your life. Focusing on the here and now. This is an interesting one because I think that Virgo is the least grounded of all the earth signs because they're caught in their minds and they're about the to-do list and what they have to do in the future, and they're planning and they're strategizing and so caught up in the details that actually they need to be doing things that ground them into the present moment, like meditation, taking a walk, getting outside in nature, painting, anything leaning towards the sign of Pisces, which is surrender to what is. Being in a flow state, doing things that bring you into a state of self-love and self-acceptance. So, but it deals with being in the here and now, focusing their minds, focusing the North Node and Virgo's person mind into the details of the here and now, into the relationships and what hello, Earth to whoever, your toast is burning, you have this appointment to get to on time, like whatever it is. Being on top of the details, I think punctuality. It also talks about punctuality, being on time, creating a system where you are on time. It also deals with that. And I think when the people with North Node in Virgo, because of the South Node in Pisces being a sensitive placement, especially when they try to focus on the here and now, attend to the details, focus their mind. They're productive. They put in the hard work. They do detail-oriented work, especially service work for other people. It is imperative not to judge them in a negative way, giving them constructive criticism, because the North Node in Virgo is leaning into that. It's leaning into self-improvement. How can you become better while you are enough? But to not judge these people who try to do these Virgo things. Accept, constructive criticism. So it says acting on feelings, compassion. You can have the feeling, you can have the empathy, the compassion, the desire to serve others and make a difference and heal others and uplift others and bring peace and care for others. But what are you actively going to do on the practical plane, realistically, in a grounded fashion, in a pragmatic fashion, here down on Earth in reality? Being of service to others, Virgo is a service-oriented sign. So, how can I serve? How can I make a difference? What can I do to improve somebody's life? What can I do to help somebody? I think the focus is for them to take their focus outside of themselves, being caught inside of themselves. And they start falling into anxiety and, all these things when they spend too much time alone by themselves. They need to take action and be proactive, do something productive to get themselves outside themselves. They need a structure in their life that can be very healing for them. Analyzing and categorizing, attending to the details of things, gaining self-confidence through experience. One of the things that she talks about is being caught in the feeling of inadequacy, that I'm not good enough. And so gaining self-confidence through your talents, through honing in on a craft and a skill set and owning it, not for it to be just copyrighted by other people, but you have ownership. That you have that self-confidence, that there is that boundary there, that I created this thing, I manifested this thing. Moderation, not going to extremes, not going to excess, but moderation, putting parameters on things, putting limits on things. Taking risks in spite of fears, having the courage to just get up, get out and do something. Take action, taking action. And it is easy for them not to take action. But they need to work on taking action, pushing themselves to take the next step in the right direction, taking action. What can I do to work on this? What can I do to improve this? What can I do on the physical plane to serve another person, to help the situation, to get outside of myself? And then noticing and valuing details is another thing. So then she talks about the tendencies to leave behind with the South Node in Pisces. So one of the downsides of Pisces energy, as it says here, is being caught in what is called victim consciousness. Being a martyr, where you don't feel like you are powerless against a higher force. You don't have power. You can't co-create. but you can't improve or grow or change in your life. That you can't do something for yourself. So being a victim is one thing. Confusion and disorientation. Pisces, there's a fog with Pisces that's ruled by Neptune. So getting confused by emotions and illusions in the mind, by your imagination. Disorientation, disorganization, getting caught in that. Avoidance of planning, because Pisces is just, oh, well, it's going to work out and we can trust the universe, but you sort of have to build a parachute because you can't trust that there's going to be a parachute that's going to be there for you when you jump out of the plane. You have to build it for yourself. And so avoidance of planning, avoidance of strategizing, okay, this is what I'm going to do when, and this is going to take this amount of time, and I'm going to find this way of getting to this place. I'm going to approach this task in this way. Doing things systematically is something very important for them to develop. Escapism, or addictive tendencies. This includes drugs, alcohol, but this can also be excessive sleep, daydreaming, anything that is escaping you being present and facing the reality and dealing with the things that you have to deal with and take care of in your life. So, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, there is this sense of this there's this blue emotional sense where it's hard to get out of the heaviness of that clouded fantasy, of the dream, of the emotion. Don't you just wish you could escape to a wall or a palace or something? I mean, you can run, but you can't hide. You can go to a bridge and pray for someone to provide you with what you need and want. But what are you actually going to do for yourself? The routines and the structures that you are providing for yourself, taking care of yourself. Because one of the things it talks about is in a past lifetime, there were other individuals or organizations that took care of the Virgo North Node and provided that structure and provided the routine. In this lifetime, it is about them providing and creating their own systems and their own routines for themselves. It is not getting caught in escapism when you do not want to face the reality, when you do not want to do the work. And people are not given to all the things, especially when there's issues, especially when it gets difficult or a problem arises and there's overwhelm when it comes to all the little details to take care of. So escapism is one thing. And getting caught in addictive tendencies, again, moderation. Extremism, oversensitivity. Virgo can be detached in a healthy way, where you are turning on your mind. You are awakening your logical mind. Viewing things from an objective, realistic, rational perspective. And not letting the emotions, you're not getting pulled down by the emotions. You're not letting it drain you or get the better of you, basically. Self-doubt, and anxiety going along with that. I've had to deal with quite a bit of that for many, many months. That's, the healing that I am working on within myself. Feelings of inadequacy, withdrawal, Again, not the participation, wanting to, this lifetime for them is really not crawling up into a ball and, digging their head in the sand. It is about actively going out and, making the money, chopping wood and carrying water, serving another person, so, fixing the machine. I mean, all these kind of things. So, yeah, so withdrawal, vagueness, or not wanting to commit to something, an action, or giving up, lack of faith, I don't know. And then, well, it says giving up. So those are a couple little glimpses into this particular placement, and I'm going to digress that I read through that, and you can buy the book and you can read through it. But so, I'm spelling something really good right now, which means that it's almost time for dinner. So I could go through the sections of this book and go in greater detail with what I read. I would not do this if I was, say, doing a live stream and talking to a pretend audience. No, I'm talking to a real audience, which is all of you. That's what I used to do. I used to make pretend videos and pretend like there were people watching me. Different than right now, when you're potentially watching this. If you are watching this right now, that's a legitimate audience. So I'm going to just pick and choose selectively what sections that I want to focus on here. So I'm going to read through some of these sections. So this section that I'm going to read is on the Achilles heel and trap to avoid the bottom line. Virgo North Node's Achilles heel is victim consciousness. If I don't have constant compassionate attention and understanding from others, someone will take advantage of me. Another thing is probably being used or abused in previous lifetimes, being taken advantage of. One of the things that it does not talk about here in that list of attributes to develop healthy boundaries. Because Pisces is a sea. Think of the sea. It's boundless. Now, Saturn, the planet of structure, boundaries, limitation, is currently moving through Pisces right now. I have a whole huge, long, in-depth masterclass of a video on Saturn and Pisces. And one of the things that has become more of an issue is talking about water and putting in place more dams or more structures. There's something that was built called the Channel Tunnel. I think it was back in the 90s. It was a structure to, for water, the well-being of water, is a huge issue right now with Saturn and Pisces. Just like AI, artificial intelligence, technology is huge with Pluto and Aquarius, and Pluto moved into Aquarius only recently, and it moved back into Capricorn last month on the 11th of the month. A little bit over a month ago, it moved into Capricorn. It's going to move back into Aquarius next year. And so, drawing boundaries, healthy self-respect, is another important thing. So if I don't have constant compassion, attention, and understanding from others, someone will take advantage of me. There is this boundless sense of compassion. let's say there's somebody on the street and you care for them and you want to help them, but then they, take over and they mess up your house, they, wear your clothes, and you regret it because you did not draw that firm boundary that, they're really here to draw that line in the sand. That's the Virgo North Node. But it's a bottomless pit. Others can never give them enough reassurance to overcome their inner sense of helplessness and paranoia. Only when they look within can they discover what outer structures they need to create in order to give themselves strength and purpose. The trap they must avoid is an unending search for a savior or mentor whom they can trust blindly and to whom they can surrender. Blind faith. If only I can surrender enough, God will put things in order. However, life has shown them that inward surrender will not make the external world orderly and productive. Virgo North Nodes are here to be on the practical physical plane. Now it's time for them to play their part, the universe. The only way they can achieve their goals is to organize their lives in a way they need them to be, so they will feel safe and secure. The bottom line is that they'll never feel that they have enough confidence to go into the world and do something productive. At some point, they simply have to begin actively participating in life. The irony is that when they begin to participate and learn what leads to successful results, they will gain the confidence they seek. So I'm just trying to go through there's, it goes into a lot of okay, so it talks about, it goes through several different sections, and I'm just trying to pick and choose here. This is a live stream, and therefore it is perfectly imperfect. Now, okay, so yeah, just a moment. Alrighty. So it talks about connection with the universe. It talks about attention to detail. So, well, I think that you kind of get the picture here. Let me just see what I can say here. So what these people really want is to be lost in the security blanket of their own personal connection with the universe. They want to let go into something larger than themselves that will support them and give them an expanded sense of identity, because Pisces is a sign of surrendering to a higher power. Virgo North Node people have an insatiable need to experience peace and oneness, but to successfully attain this goal, they must go into the world and be of service to others. As they shift attention from their own fears and focus instead on the here and now, they can easily see how to restore order in situations of chaos. Okay. So, alrighty. And there is so much to go through in this. There really is. There is. There's just a lot. So I think I'm going to stop there. I will probably go through more stuff, maybe. Who knows? But I just wanted to come on and share that.